Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground. So we can fly again. 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 I've been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put my fire out. You can turn it all around. And you can lift me off the ground. So we can fly again. 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 I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put my fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground. So we can fly again. 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 I've been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put my fire out. You can turn it all around. sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground so we can fly again. 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 I've been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put my fire out. You can turn it all around. And you can lift me off the ground so we can fly again. 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 I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put my fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground so we can fly again. 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 I've been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground. So we can fly again. 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 I've been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. And you can lift me off the ground. So we can fly again. 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 We can fly again. I get lost sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground. So we can fly again. 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 I've been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground so we can fly again. So we can fly again. Been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. And you can lift me off the ground so we can fly again. So we can fly again. Sometimes and I can't seem to find a light between the walls I built for myself right in my mind. And then you came over and you showed me love that I never had seen before. And now when I got you, it's all gonna be alright. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you can put the fire out. You can turn it all around. You can lift me off the ground so we can fly again. So we can fly again. Been trying hard not to go out of my mind. And all I need right now is for you to stay the night. But if you keep saying that you've got to leave, then I'm gonna be alright. As long as you tell me that we ain't running out of time. Thinking about all the things we did tonight. What a time to be alive. Just you and I. Just you and I. Only you
Testing the mic, 1, 2, 3, testing. Are we on? Testing the mic, 1, 2, 3, testing. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here at Barcelona for round 5 of the GT4 Championship here on a Wednesday night on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. We've got a 15 car grid for tonight, looking good for some great action and a track that most of the drivers will know pretty well by now. We've got Freeman currently sat at the top of this leaderboard here, setting a blistering pace in this qualifying session. Marty Road Racing and Lightblade have been able to get a little bit closer to him over these last couple of minutes, but for a while in this session, Freeman was looking like he was on his own at the top of that leaderboard. So Freeman currently sets the pace by 0.4 of a second ahead of Marty Road Racing. Lightblade, our regular reserve here at Motive Racing, has just moved up into P2, provisionally on the front row alongside Freeman. Asked me what car to drive for this series tonight, and I said to him either the BMW or the Jetta. I think he'd already gone for the Jetta by the time that I saw his message and responded to him. But Lightblade in the number 777, we're expecting a big performance out of him, as he always does tend to rise to the occasions. We saw him as a late stand-in on Monday night for the Porsche Super Cup, almost dethrone the Porsche Super Cup champion Will Friedmann and take a win in the feature race. So Lightblade, we know, is somebody who doesn't shy away from a challenge, even if it is at the 11th hour. So Lightblade currently sat in second at the moment, will be looking to try and get himself on pole ahead of Freeman if he can, but it looks like he might have backed out of this lap that he's currently on. I think he's returning to the pits. Yes, he is. So Freeman still sat on provisional pole. Can Marty go better than him and put himself on the front row maybe? Championship leader Cheese Monkey currently sat in the pits at the moment, obviously the reigning champion of the GT4 division, as is John Jig as well, both of those in the pits. What is Marty Road Racing able to do on his final run of this session? Can he move himself up the order a little bit as he comes up towards the line? It doesn't look like he is able to, so he's going to be starting this one in P3, although he will get another lap in, so maybe he can change that in the last couple of minutes here. But Kodalungu is out there in P6. We've got Nilsson up in 7th place, a good qualifying so far here from Nilsson, great to see. Snooky in 8th, making his return after a week away last week. He's coming in towards the final couple of corners. Let's see if Snooky can get himself up the order a little bit, as he's got somebody, an AMG, just behind him on the track. I'm not sure who that is. I think it looks like it is it Idris maybe? No, it's not Idris, but Snooky comes up towards the line and doesn't improve on his personal best just there. Guideo's coming out of the final corner. That was Morphy there that was behind him, but Guideo up towards the line. Can he move up the order? He goes up into P9 there, does Guideo, the GT3 champion here at Motive, looking to try and up the GT4s to his collection this season, but he's down in P9. He's going to have to do this race from a very difficult position on the grid, but I think that's going to be that then for the qualifying session. Freeman's still out there, the provisional pole sitter. Kodalungu is on his final run of the session as he's coming through the final corner now, gets really wide onto the curb there, but let's see what Kodalungu can put on the board here as he's about to come up towards the line. Can Kodalungu get himself up the front 2 rows? No, he can't. He's backing out. He's done. He's off onto the gravel. Idris is the only driver on a lap at the moment. He's just coming through turn 6 and 7 up towards turn 8. This long right hander, bit of a tricky one. You feel like you can take more speed into it than you actually can. He's got now just a sector to go, has Idris, and let's see what he can get on the board here as he made his debut here at Motive on Monday night for the Porsche Super Cup. One of our new regulars here, but has only raced in one event so far, but has signed up to all of our championships here on ACC, so he's clearly throwing himself in at the deep end and looking to try and swim if he can. He's coming in towards the final few corners of the lap, number 407. He's opted for the AMG for this one. It can be a tricky one, but if you get the best out of it, it can really fly. We saw Javier Ranz taking 7 wins out of 8 in the first season for the GT4s in the Mercedes AMG, but let's see what Idris can do as he's coming around the final couple of corners here. Final run of the session. He'll be the last man over the line. Can Idris get himself further up into the top 10? He's already occupying that final top 10 position. He comes up towards the line now. What is it going to be for Idris? He stays in P10, so he's not going to move up the order. So that looks like it's going to be that then for the qualifying session here at Barcelona for round 5 of the GT4s here at Motive. It's going to be Freeman starting on pole by a tenth of a second ahead of Lightblade. Marty Road Racing and Cheese Monkey close behind. Cheese Monkey will be wanting to continue his consistent run of form and possibly get himself onto the podium here. Freeman in a bit of a purple patch so far this season. He won last week at Suzuka in the sodden wet conditions. He seems to be pretty quick in these dry conditions as well. It's a team run DJC 1-2-3 here, so I know that JR is going to be absolutely jumping up and down about that one. He's going to be very chuffed to see the boys really delivering some strong form here, as he's also echoing what I just said there. He's saying 1-2-3 run DJC. Lightblade with a rare appearance, no team orders with Lightblade tonight. Interesting to hear that, JR. We've got Noffel Honk also saying good luck everyone. Likewise Xander Flander says good luck to all. Go Snooky podium tonight. Good luck Windsor as well. Xander Flander unable to make tonight unfortunately, but he's still showing up in the comments. We've got Tomica in the comments getting his support in for SMT. We've got Zaloba and also Ferenc out there on track. Ferenc is otherwise known as Morphe. That's his PlayStation name. His Discord name is Ferenc. Got Guitar Rich saying, hey all, just hope the jig don't pleb it tonight. Well, John Jig currently in P5 for this qualifying session, Rich, so he's looking good. Only 0.8 of a second off for the pole time, so let's see what he can deliver once the race gets going. I'm sure he's going to be in a good position to try and feast on the scraps to the guys ahead, and maybe, just maybe, keep himself in the hunt. If he can stay in that slipstream, then he might have a good chance of picking up a podium here tonight. JR asks, is Cheese Monkey leading the championship? I think so, but I'm not sure because the standings haven't been updated. Our standings man Will's been a little bit busy over the last week. His little boy turned 2 at the weekend, so he's had a lot on over the last week or so, and he hasn't been able to do the championship standings, so that will be updated in due course. I would offer to do them, but I think he's got the standing sheet to himself. I think it's not shared with the Motive Racing Gmail account, so I don't have access to it myself, but I believe he'll be getting around to that at some point. But Cheese Monkey, I believe, is leading the championship. I'm not 100%. I think it's pretty close with him and Freeman. I know that Freeman obviously got the win last week, so he would have closed that gap, but I'm not 100% on the full state of affairs with the championship. I'll have to come back to you on that one, mate. But 15 cars on the grid here for the GT4s here at Motive. Let us know in the comments who your favourite is. JR obviously getting behind his team run DJC boys. We've got Tomica of SMT getting behind Zaloba and Ferenc as well. And we've also got Xander Flander, who unfortunately couldn't make tonight. Our regular in the GT4s wasn't able to show up for this one, so he'll be gutted about that, but he's still getting his support in for his mates, obviously Snooky and Windsor, and also Noffel Honk in the comments. Good to have him on the YouTube stream as well. He says good luck to everybody. Guitar Rich supporting John Jig, as JR saying my little girl turned 2 yesterday as well. I remember, yeah, happy birthday to her, JR. Obviously I remember that quite well. Amazing how 2 years flies by. It really is. It really is amazing. I remember that like it was yesterday. But yeah, happy birthday, and also to Will's son as well. Absolutely. But will be good to see Cod climb up higher. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think he's a little bit out of position there. I reckon he's got a little bit more in the tank, so we'll be seeing how he gets on over the course of the next hour. I'm sure Cod will want to have a better start to the race than he had last week, because last week was a mare, honestly. I think it might have been rustiness, just down to the fact that he was making his return to the leagues after a little time away, but yeah, I'm sure that he's going to be looking to bounce back stronger from that. But we're about to go for the formation lap here, ladies and gentlemen, for round 5 of the GT4s here at Motive at Barcelona, and this is looking like it could be a wide open race here at the front. It really could. Cheese Monkey's going to want to try and be the party pooper in Team Run DJC's little battle, but this is anybody's race. It really is. We've got the guys in the Discord server saying good luck to each other. Cheese Monkey says, well, I guess I'm number 2 for this race. Yeah, somebody's stolen his number, so that would appear to be Morphe there, now sporting the number of the reigning champion. So peeved about that one, but it is what it is, and hopefully we'll be able to let Morphy know about that in the next one. But here we go then, formation lap underway here for the GT4s tonight. Always one of the more exciting events, the GT4s of the week. Very closely close and tightly packed action in these cars here on ACC. Some of the most exciting cars on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms here on ACC, and we're delighted to have them out on track right now, as it looks like Nilsson didn't ready up for the start. So Nilsson's going to be starting this one from the pit lane, which is really unfortunate, because obviously a strong qualifying, you know, P7, that would have been a good opportunity for him to get something done in the race, but yeah, that's not really transpired. That one's not aged well at all, so he will have to start this one from the back. But yeah, Codlungu is going to be one who's going to be looking to try and make his way back through up into the podium spots. I'm sure he'll be hoping that one of his Team Run DJC teammates drops off the podium and lets him onto it. I'm sure of that. So Freeman leading us around here for the formation lap after setting an excellent qualifying pace. He managed to get a tenth of a second clear of Lightblade at the top of the leaderboard. Marty Road Racing will be lining up on the second row with Cheesemonkey alongside him. The reigning champion of the GT4's got to get it done here this week, because he knows that the Team Run DJC boys, Freeman and Marty, are coming for him. So he's got to raise his game this week. He needs to be ahead of them, or at least taking points off of them if he can. John Jig in 5th place, Codlungu lining up alongside him on the 3rd row. We've got Snooky in 7th, making his return after last week away. Credeo in 8th place, the GT3 champion, managed to get himself up the order a couple of positions before the end of the session. Idris in 9th, made his debut on Monday night, did a great job considering his first ever appearance on the Motive Racing channel. We've got Pete Bibb in P10, our regular in the touring cars on Project Cars 2 on a Friday night, also always shows up for these GT4s on a Wednesday. The Lazy Camel in 11th, one of our patrons here at Motive, number 51 Janetta there. We've got the SMT Zaloba, one of the new teams to Motive, recently signed up a couple of weeks ago. We've got his teammate Morphy, one row behind him in 14th. Windsor lining up in P13 for this one in that AMG, the number 43, and Nilsson, unfortunately for him, will be starting this one from the pit lane, so he's got it all to do in this one. But Novel Honk there says ghosting for the win. Absolutely, absolutely. So here we are then, ladies and gentlemen, we're coming in towards the final few corners of the formation lap. It's going to be Freeman to get us underway, but Lightblade will be wanting to get ahead of him as soon as he can. Lightblade racing as a reserve tonight. He's a member of Team Run DJC's and a sandwich in between his teammates, so he's going to want to make sure that he doesn't mess with them too much, seeing as they are in a championship battle with Cheesemonkey. But here we go, we're moments away from the start. Now, you mustn't talk too loud, okay? But here we are then, out onto the start-finish straight, about to start the race here for round 5 of the GT4s at Motive Racing on Assetto Corsa Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platform. Here we go, it's green, green, green. We are racing, we're underway here at Barcelona, and Pete Bibb's already got a drive-through penalty. Oh no, what a shame there. Pete Bibb has jumped the start. He must have got a little bit too heavy onto the loud pedal before we got going. Nilsson just said in the comments there, he pressed the wrong button to his garage. Unlucky there, mate. Freeman leads into turn 1. We got Lightblade trying to fend off Marty, who's looking down the inside. In fact, no, that's not Marty looking down the inside. That is Cheesemonkey all over the back of him coming through turn 3. Cheesemonkey side by side with Lightblade coming through turn 3. Can he get the move done? Lightblade very, very wide there. The Janetta's got very, very bad straight line speed, but it looks like it's got the cornering grip around turn 3, and it's going to have that move done into 4. So Cheesemonkey up into second place ahead of Lightblade. He's now got to fewer cars behind him. Codlungu there's, oh no, Freeman's wide. Oh my goodness me, Freeman's gone off onto the gravel coming through on the exit of turn 4. That has put Cheesemonkey into the lead of the race. Lightblade hot on his heels there in second, Codlungu in third, but Freeman down to 4th place here in the opening corners of this race. Oh my goodness, the pole sitter there has had an absolute mare. As we got Credeo just behind them, Marty dropped down to 6th place. A horrible start there for Marty Road Racing, as he's got Snooky looking to his outside here on the exit of turn 7. Can Snooky get this move done on him? I think he might be able to, you know, he's got that better traction out the corner, and Snooky gets another position there. Marty's dropping down the field like a stone here on the first lap of this race. He's now going to have John Jik looking to his inside coming down towards turn 9. Is John Jik going to trying to make a move here on Marty? He's got Zaloba queuing up behind him, as Zaloba has to duck to the inside and gets the move on John Jik. John Jik looks like he's a little bit hesitant there. there as he was trying to get ahead of Marty, couldn't do it, and Idris just behind these guys in 10th. Pete Bibb, Morphy there in 12th with the Lazy Camel. Windsor in 14th, and Nilsson, having started from the pits, is off and running here in this race. But Cheese Monkey leads at the end of the first lap, having been very fortuitously given the lead due to Freeman's running wide onto the gravel, giving 3 drivers the position over him. But Lightblade obviously lost out to Cheese Monkey. If it hadn't been for his little slip coming through turn 3, he would be in the lead at the moment. But Cheese Monkey leads at the end of the first lap. Lightblade second. Freeman's got ahead of Kodalungu, back up into P3 there. Kodalungu losing out to Freeman. Cordeo has made an incredible opening lap though, up into 5th place already, so he's gone from 9th to 5th in 1 lap. Great start there from Cordeo. Snooky in 6th, Marty Road Racing there in 7th place. Zaloba just behind him. Good start from Zaloba. Great strong opening lap there from him. John Jig's gone backwards a little bit there, down in P9. Idris in 10th. We've got Morphy, the Lazy Camel. The Lazy Camel's up the inside of Morphy there into turn 1, and Morphy ever so wide. Windsor follows the Lazy Camel through up into 12th place. Morphy losing 2 positions there in 1 corner as Pete Bibb with that drive through has been in and out and is now at the end of the pit lane, ready to take to the track once again. But so much going on here on this opening lap. Noffel says, oh man, that was a quick run from 4th to 1st there for Cheese Monkey. 100% mate, and he's 2 seconds clear already. What a brilliant start to this race from Cheese Monkey. Last season's reigning champion, knows this is a big opportunity for him, seeing as those guys had a little bit of a skirmish at the start. So JR Sim Racing saying, well, that changed fast. I won't say the next bit, but he's certainly not happy about that one. Long race, but cannot let Cheese gap them. He's already doing it though, says Noffel Honk. Yeah, 100%. Come on Marty, says JR Sim Racing. Looks like he's gone. Track limits and pit stops are going to be critical. Well, Cheese Monkey usually a bit of a slow starter. He's usually quick towards the end after the pit stops, but he's absolutely flown out of the blocks this week. Maybe he's playing the opposite strategy this time around. Lightblade has got Cod looking to his inside, down towards the inside into turn 9. I think Cod's got him back there. Kodalungu is up into the final podium spot ahead of Lightblade, and Lightblade's got Cordeo hot on his heels here as well. So JR saying was banking on Lightblade holding him up a little bit. Well, it's not gone to plan at all. The boys now in 2nd, 3rd and 4th places. Cheese Monkey starting to build a bit of a gap here out the front as he's about to come out of the last corner to complete the 2nd lap of the race. But this has gone Pete Tong for the team run DJC boys, who were looking to try and work together to keep Cheese Monkey at bay whilst Freeman built the gap out of the front. Freeman's little mistake coming through turn 4 on the opening lap has really shot him in the foot here and has kind of ruined their tactics completely in this race. But it's still a long way to go, and has he got the pace of Cheese Monkey? We're going to find out over the course of this one. Cordeo on the back of the team run DJC boys in 5th place. Marty there in 6th. Snooky running in 7th place. A good decent start there from him. Zaloba in 8th. There's the Lazy Camel running in 9th. A couple of seconds clear now of Windsor in 10th. And you got Morphy dropping off the back of those in 11th. John Jiggs had a horror show of a start down in 12th place. Idris in 13th. Nilsson from the pits in 14th, and Pete Bibb having made that drive-through penalty at the back in P15 at the moment. Freeman bringing the gap down a little bit. 3/10 is what he gained on Cheese Monkey coming through that first sector there, so he's starting to come back at him a little bit now. Freeman now he's in some clean air now. He's got ahead of his teammates, can try and set his sights on the race leader here, but he's got a long way to go in this one, that is for sure. And it's not going to be easy in any way, shape or form. Kodalungu has got Lightblade hassled in the back of him here as these two are starting to try and break away a little bit from Cordeo. Cordeo has got Marty closing in on him a little bit over the last couple of laps or so, as he's still got Snooky there running in 7th, about a second off at the back of Marty. Big gap back to the Lazy Camel from Zaloba. Zaloba's on the back of Snooky, and then the Lazy Camel's miles behind in 9th place, and looks as though those battles are kind of just petering out a little bit. John Jig has got ahead of Morphy up into 11th place. So John Jig's picked somebody off, but it's going to be a long way back for him after a horrible first couple of laps. There's no other word for it. Cheese Monkey's gained 3/10 on Freeman over the course of that middle sector there, but we'll see what Freeman does in the final sector. But at the moment, it looks like Cheese Monkey's got the measure of Freeman at this point in the race. Lightblade running within 3/10 of a second of Kodalungu, still continuing to pressure him. Cordeo in 5th just behind these guys. These three battling out over the final podium spot as we see Kodalungu really riding over that sausage curb there, coming through the exit of the chicane. Noffel in the comments saying, I guess Freeman is going to catch up with Cheese. The BMW has a much better straight line speed and it's a fast track. It is very quick down the start finish, and you've got a couple of spots on the track where it is going to really pay dividends. But the Ginetta is also very good through those chicanes and those medium to high speed corners. I think the Ginetta is going to have the advantage for sure. It's just about where you can utilise that, and it has Cheese Monkey got the talent to absolutely wring the neck of it through the parts of the track where it matters, where he can really make that difference and gain that advantage. That's the question. At the moment we're finding out that the answer is 100% yes he can. That part of the track Freeman seems to gain time. He gained 4/10 on him through that first sector, but the middle sector GeezeMonkey's flying, and that final sector he's solid. So Freeman is gaining all that time in the first sector down the start-finish straight where he's got that top-end speed, but then the rest of the track, GeezeMonkey is more than a match for him at this point and looking to really take this fight to him in this race. Credeo there running it in. 5th place is 3/10 behind Lightblade at the moment as he's got Marty looking to his inside here. Can Marty road racing get this move done on Credeo coming up towards turn 6? I think he's going to get it done here. Marty's up into 5th place. Routine stuff there. Credeo didn't seem to fight that hard at all, did he? Just kind of let him through there. Nuffle Honk says true that, and Cheese is really good at utilising this advantage. We saw last season, mate, in obviously he took the championship. He ended up beating another driver in the Ginetta, actually, Standard Control. Those two went down to the final race of the season, and GeezeMonkey kept it consistent and managed to see it out and take the win in the title. And so far this season he's been extremely consistent. He won the first couple of races of the season. Last 2 rounds haven't really gone as well. I think he's picked up a 4th and a 2nd, which is still extremely strong. Obviously, you can't really knock somebody for that, but he's not been winning the last couple of rounds, but he's back in the position that he loves at the moment and doing his absolute best with it. And the gap to Freeman is staying around the same, 3.1 seconds. So GeezeMonkey was a 10th quicker than Freeman on the last lap. It's not like it's going to make a whole lot of difference at this point though, is it? Freeman is matching him but just isn't really catching him at the moment, but we'll have to see how that develops. Maybe GeezeMonkey playing it a little bit differently to how he usually does, because he usually comes on strong at the end. Right now he's just fully going hell for leather at this point, so we could be seeing a different stage type of race here from GeezeMonkey. At the moment Lightblade has fallen off the back of Kodalungu. Kodalungu staying around the same gap that he's got to Freeman, but Lightblade's falling off of him, and he's got about a 1 second gap back to Marty at this point. Credeo running in 6th. He's within 0.6 of a second of Marty, so he's managed to close back up onto him after Marty made the move on him about a lap ago. Snooky there in the background, keeping these guys on their toes. There's Zaloba, the Lazy Camel, a long way behind in 9th place. He's got a bit of a gap now back to Windsor. He's managed to open up a 5 second gap to Windsor. Windsor's got John Jig very hot in his mirrors though, coming through turn 4. These guys are going to battle it out all the way through the middle sector, I feel, and John Jig's going to try and get around him here. He's going to duck back to the inside if he can. Windsor's going to leave the door open. John Jig goes for it. Oh, look at that. Oh, John Jig very ambitious there. Windsor closes the door as he can rightfully do, but in the end John Jig manages to squeeze through. That was a little bit aggressive there from John Jig, I've got to say. If Windsor puts in the stewards, then he might, I don't know, John Jig might get a bit of a reprimand for that one, but he gets his way up into 10th place regardless, into that final top 10 spot. JR saying, but Cheese was fast at Bathurst and the Ginetta tops out down the straight. Yeah, but the mountain section, it's got so much grip in the mountain section, it's ridiculous. So I think that's probably where he was gaining all the time. The Ginetta ain't half bad around Bathurst. The BMW is better. It's got truer pace, I'd have to say, but the Ginetta does make up a lot of time in that part of the track. JR says his sheer pace around the twisty stuff kind of nulls the BMW straight line. Exactly that, mate, exactly that. That's bang on. But GeezeMonkey is currently still doing the business out the front. Freeman did gain 0.4 on GeezeMonkey on the last lap, so he's starting to bring himself back into this one here, is Freeman. He's starting to get a bit of confidence in that BMW. JR saying it's not over if the gap can be maintained. Yeah, if he keeps himself within striking distance, then for sure he's going to be a factor, and that'll be playing on GeezeMonkey's mind. It's going to be mental as much as physical in this one, and yeah, for sure Freeman's definitely got the pace to take this fight to GeezeMonkey at this point. But Freeman's got 4 seconds back to Kodalungu, so he's running in the final podium spot, and Kodalungu's got 3 seconds further back to Lightblade. Lightblade's still keeping Marty at bay, and we've heard there's no team orders going on at Team Run DJC with regards to Lightblade, so he's free to race, he's free to do what he wants out there. And obviously Marty, if he feels that Lightblade's sort of holding him up, then he'll probably, I don't know, say something on the party chat, I would imagine. But at this point Lightblade seems to be more than a match for him, and you can't really knock Lightblade in this race because he did qualify in P2, but he doesn't seem to have the pace that he had in quali in the race so far. So I wonder if he'll be able to try and showcase that over the course of this race. Marty's got almost 3 seconds back to Credeo. He's got a further second back to Snooky running in 7th. Further second back to Zaloba in 8th. Then you've got the Lazy Camel. continue to drop off for these guys. Jig, since getting ahead of Windsor, has closed the gap to the Lazy Camel a little bit. There's now, less than 5 seconds between the Lazy Camel and Jig at this point.
Lazy Snook running.
As Edris is looking to the inside of Windsor, coming up towards turn 9. He's going to get that mod done, I think. Look at this, is Edris managed to pull that move off there on Windsor? I think he has. Edris has gone right on the outside there of turn 11, and he is up into 11th place there. So Edris gaining a position on Windsor. These guys 4 seconds clear of the man who started in the pits for this one, Nilsson, and Nilsson has got 10 seconds back to Pete Bibb running in 14th place. So Freeman's dropped back to 3rd. Oh no, what's happened to Freeman? Oh no, Freeman has had a horror show somewhere out there. Codlungu's now in P2. Freeman's dropped down to 3rd. JR was just saying there in the comments that Freeman gained half a second there on Cheese Monkey, but not anymore. He's just thrown away all of that hard work that he did there, and he's dropped down to 3rd place in this one. He's got 1.3 back to this battle. Marty's got ahead of Lightblade up into 4th place as they're coming into turn 5. So Marty now is ahead of Lightblade. Can Lightblade try and come back in the mirror? Is he going to be allowed to in this one? Freeman half a second. Yeah, JR, pick that one up, mate. We've got Freeman and currently sat in 3rd place now, so he's 3.5 seconds behind Codlungu at this point. He's still a little bit ahead of Lightblade and Marty, and I can't imagine he's going to get too much aggro from these two, but yeah, definitely it's going to throw a spanner in the works for Freeman's chances of taking a win here at Barcelona tonight. Cheese Monkey looking in cruise control out the front. He's got 7 seconds to Codlungu. He's got 10 seconds to his main rival for this race win tonight, and possibly big championship rival. Cheese Monkey and Freeman have been very close throughout the course of this season. Marty's pretty much in the mix of it as well. Quadeo can't be too far off in the points, but he's now down in P6 in this race. He's 3 seconds off at the back of Lightblade at this point. But Cheese Monkey currently showing everybody how it's done here at the end of lap 7 here at Barcelona for round 5 of the GT4s. 14 minutes into the race, still a little way to go until the pit window opens. We've got about 11 minutes until the pit window starts up, so the drivers are just going to have to keep going, keep pushing, and try and make sure they don't pick up any damage that's worth talking about between now and the pit stops. Freeman within 3 seconds of Codlungu. Yeah, I did. But Marty currently 2.5 seconds behind Freeman at this point. He's got Lightblade very close on the back of him. Look at this, 0.4 of a second between these two at the moment. So Lightblade just trying to get back onto Marty if he can. And these guys obviously now only 5 seconds off of a P2 spot in this race. So it's really opened it up with Freeman making that little moment there. It's just opened up a new can of worms in this one. Freeman only 10 seconds off of Cheese Monkey. Seems to be matching him, if not running a little bit quicker than him at this point. But down in P3, being as far behind as he is, he's got a mountain to climb in this one. There's no other way around it. As we see, Lightblade's wide coming through turn 5. He gets all over the gravel there as he was trying to get past Marty, and in the end just overcooked it ever so slightly. He's going to drop him a bit of time. He's still a little way ahead of Quadeo at the moment, a couple of seconds clear of him, but that's not gone well for Lightblade in any way, shape or form. But Cheese Monkey's still leading this race, and he's got quite a big gap now at the front. And obviously now with Freeman making that mistake, it's left him in the clear a little bit. It's giving him a chance to stretch his legs and really get the best out of his Ginetta. The reigning champion of the GT4 division here at Motive is obviously usually sports the number 1 livery, but tonight he's had to stick with the number 2 down to the fact that Morphy decided it upon himself to go in the number 1.
Stuck into number 2.
Yeah, he did, yeah. But Cheese Monkey currently 8 seconds clear of Codlungu at this point in his number 83 Mercedes AMG. Freeman closing that gap though in the BMW. Look at this, Freeman's definitely bringing the smoke to Cod, and I know JR said before there's no team orders at Team Run DJC, but I'm speculating that probably Cod won't make it too difficult for Freeman if he does come up on him, and the reason why I'm thinking that is just because Freeman's in a championship battle with Cheese Monkey, and Cod, having missed the first 3 rounds of the season, is most certainly not in the championship battle. So I would say at this point it would be a no-brainer for Cod to not make it too difficult for him. I'm not saying he's going to let off and let him pass, but he's definitely not going to just move over. Sorry, Nana? I can't hear what you're saying. It sounds like you're talking gibberish. Oh, I didn't mean like that. But currently Cheese Monkey's still leading this race by over 8 seconds to Codalungu, and Freeman's bringing that gap down to Cod at this point. Marty running 4 seconds off at the back of these guys in 4th place. He's got Lightblade now 3 seconds behind him due to Lightblade making a little mistake at this very corner. A lap ago, he's got Credeo now hot on his mirrors here. These two separated by less than a second. It says 1.1 on the timing screen. To me it looks like about 8 or 9 tenths. It's definitely less than a second between those two. We got Snooky running 4 seconds behind in 7th place, Zaloba there in 8th, a further 2 seconds back. Then you got John Jig, who's 10 seconds behind Zaloba, having just made the move there on the Lazy Camel. So John Jig continuing to make progress in this race, but like last week we saw with John Jig, he's had a bit of an uphill task in this one. We saw last week qualified on pole in the wet at Suzuka, but had a first lap spin, and this time he had a bit of a nightmare first couple of laps, which has really set him back over the course of this one. So John Jig with a mountain to climb in this race. The Lazy Camel running in that final top 10 spot. You got 5 seconds back to Idris running in 11th place. Windsor in 12th. Then you got Nilsson on the back of Windsor trying to get those moves done if he can. Nilsson did start from the pit lane for this one, so Nilsson's got to really make hay while the sun shines here, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult for him in the later stages of the race. Pete Bibb's still running in 14th, having made that drive through on the first lap, and Morphe the last runner at the moment in P15 in this one. That was a hiccup, but Cheese Monkey has got a gap of just under 10 seconds over Codalungu at this point, as that was just a follow-up from my other hiccup because I didn't deal with the first one. But currently we got Freeman closing up onto the back of Codalungu now, 1.1 seconds. He's really trying to put this pressure on him now, and as I said before, I speculated whether Codalungu would just maybe not try and make this too difficult for Freeman. With Freeman in that championship battle, we know that he's definitely got the impetus to take the fight to Cheese Monkey this season, and he's matching the leader Cheese Monkey since that spin that we saw from Freeman. Well, I must assume was a spin. He's only kept that gap to Cheese Monkey, so he hasn't gained on him, he hasn't really lost time to him, he's just been matching him ever since. But you feel that ability to be matching the leader may be compromised if he stays behind Codalungu much longer. So Codalungu's got a difficult decision to make at this point, as Cordeo's got ahead of Lightblade up into 5th. Missed that one, but Cordeo is now in P5, so he's made the move on Lightblade somewhere out there. Didn't see where he did that, but Cordeo now into some clean air, into 5th position in this race, and now he can try and chase down the leaders. Maybe the gap that these two have got to Marty up front is, well, not up front, but further up ahead, is about 5 seconds. So I don't know, Cordeo now starting to find a little bit of form in that BMW. Lightblade dropping off the pace, not showing the pace that we saw in the qualifying session. Bit of a strange one for Lightblade tonight. I'm not really sure what's going on, because he seemed very quick in the quali session. He was only a tenth of a second off for the pole time set by Freeman, but since the race has got going, he just hasn't seemed to be on that same wavelength that we saw in the quali session. So probably, it's most likely going to have to do with tyre pressures in some way or another. But whatever it is, it's really whatever's wrong with those tyre pressures, it really has affected him quite severely over the course of this race. He's only got 5 minutes to go until the pit window, so we could be seeing a bit of a change up going on once that pit window is open. We'll have to see. A lot of drivers out here will be looking forward to the pit window a bit more than others, but at the moment Freeman within 7 tenths of Codalungu, and in fact he's got ahead of him. Freeman's ahead of Codalungu now, up into 2nd place, so Freeman must have made that move, I assume, at the end of the start finish straight, and he's now up into P2. He's still 10 seconds off at the back of Cheese Monkey though. Lightblade within 4 tenths of Cordeo. These two still battling it out for 5th place. Nilsson still hasn't managed to get ahead of Windsor here, but is he going to be able to do it now? He's going to look to the inside here, pulls out of the slipstream. Windsor is going to try and defend it a little bit here, up towards turn 1 they come. Nilsson backs out of it. He really did break a little bit early there, didn't he? Windsor seemed like he was squeezing Nilsson. Nilsson just was very quite tame there, wasn't he? He just seemed to completely duck out of it. He was like, no, after you. So I don't know, but Freeman's gap to Codalungu already here. He's got a second of a gap between those two since getting ahead of him, and he's now closing the gap to Cheese Monkey. It's now under 10 seconds between Cheese Monkey and Freeman, but Freeman's going to want to make sure... Oh, I was saying that! I was just going to say! He wants to make sure he doesn't make another mistake, and he's gone and done it again, but this time nowhere near the same consequences. The repercussions have not presented themselves in the same crushing blow that Freeman suffered earlier on. He manages to keep hold of it, but my goodness, that was close. He's really sliding around now. He'll be wanting that pit window to open as soon as possible so he can put a fresh set of tyres on maybe. Maybe those tyre pressures starting to get a little bit out of their optimal window. GT's still flying around in that Ginetta. Look at this, the reigning champ showing why he is the reigning champ at the moment. He seems to have the march over just about everybody out on the track at this point in the race. Really, really professional job from Cheesemonkey so far. Didn't have the best of qualifying. Was down in P4 in the nighttime qualifying session. And again, that could be a major factor in the differences that we're seeing out on track between qualifying and the race. The qualifying was held at night and the race is obviously during the day, so the track temperature is going to be very different. The pressures that are required are going to differ enormously, and also the tyre wear is going to be horrendous. And the Ginetta is famously very good on its tyres compared to the other GT4 cars, so that could actually be a major difference here. But that doesn't really explain Lightblade's troubles in this one, as he's now behind Quideo. Still on the back of him though, 10th of a second between these two, as Quideo gets a little bit of a poor run coming out of turn 4. Is Lightblade going to be able to sucker him out of the corner? They're side by side up towards 5 as Quideo holds the inside line. Lightblade's going to try and go all the way around the outside here. He maximises the exit there as he's using every inch of the track and more, but Quideo holds it on the inside line just about. Lightblade tucks back in for the slipstream. Can he try and get it done into 6 and 7? No, he can't. And Quideo holding on to that position just about there by a 10th of a second, but Lightblade really pushing him here. As we're on lap 12 of the race, Lightblade I thought would have had his best opportunity to get that done and get back ahead of Quideo, but it hasn't really materialised in the way that he would have wanted it to there, as he gets a little bit of a twitch there coming out of turn 8 up towards turn 9. Kodalungu still hasn't completely lost Freeman yet. He's still within 9/10 of Freeman, but Freeman's starting to try and build that gap, I would feel, at this point. Cheesemonkey's coming out of the final corner to complete his 12th lap of the race. Pit window will be opening on this lap coming. Well, it will be for the guys behind Cheesemonkey, but I think maybe Cheesemonkey might actually be coming round a little bit too early for the pit window. I think it's about a minute and 50. Oh, what was the pole time? Do you know what? I can't even remember now. I think it was a 1:55. Yeah, I think it's 1:55 was the pole time. So yeah, Cheesemonkey might be coming around a little bit too soon to actually pit at the end of this lap. But for everybody else, the pit window is going to be open on this lap. So Freeman still keeping Kodalungu at bay here, 7/10 of a second separating these two right now. They've been going at it for the last few laps. Kodalungu still unable to get back around him, as Freeman, I think, is now finding that pace that he had in the early stages and trying to pull that gap to him if he can, and try and close the gap to Cheesemonkey, the race leader, who's currently in a world of his own there in P1. Lightblade within 0.3 of a second of Quideo at the moment, and still trying to put the pressure on him, trying to get himself back into that top 5 if he can. Nilsson has got ahead of Bib and Windsor, and is now running in 12th place here in this race. He's 12 seconds behind Idris. That'll be next up on the agenda for him. Lazy Camel 15 seconds up the road, so Nilsson a long way off of a top 10 spot, but we'll see whether he's got the talent to rein that in over the course of the second half of this race. Pit window will be opening imminently here for these drivers, so the question is who's going to come in and pull the trigger at the first time of asking. Gap between Freeman and Cod still barely anything, half a second between those two at this point. Lightblade's still trying to get around Quideo if he can. Down towards turn 9 they come. Lightblade's still a little bit too far back at this point to get anything done there with Quideo, and Quideo is doing a really good solid job of holding him at bay. Cheesemonkey's coming out of the last corner out to the start finish. He's going to start his 14th lap of the race. Freeman and Cod just coming in through the chicane, and it looks like Freeman's coming in. So Freeman breathing into the pits at the first opportunity, and Kodalungu staying out on the track for the time being, as is Marty. Quideo and Lightblade coming through the final corner now, and Quideo goes very deep into the chicane. Is Lightblade going to see it and duck underneath him? He is. Great, brilliant opportunistic move there from Lightblade. He saw that Quideo had overshot his corner a little bit, but Quideo manages to hold it around the outside, just down to the grunt that BMW's got compared to the Ginetta, and there's nothing Lightblade can do about it. It doesn't matter how much traction you get out of the corner, you've got absolutely nothing down this start-finish straight, and Quideo's managed to put out almost a second of a gap already to him at the end of the straight. So just goes to show the difference between the BMW and the Ginetta down the straights. Freeman in the pits at the moment. Obviously we saw him come in a few moments ago. Snooky in 7th there. We've got Zaloba 8th. Jonji staying out for the time being in 9th. The Lazy Camel 10th. Idris is coming in from a P11, so following Freeman in. Freeman and Idris currently the only drivers to come in and get the pit stops done during this mandatory pit stop window. You got Nilsson staying out for the time being. Pete Bibb comes in as well, so Freeman, Idris and Pete Bibb all coming in on the first lap of the pit window, as we see Windsor coming over the line to start his 14th lap of the race, currently sat in P13 in this one. Lightblade is still really close to the back of Quadeo right now, coming up towards turn 6 and 7. Is he going to try and throw one down the inside? It looked like the gap was a tenth of a second at the previous checkpoint. It looks like it's about that now, a little bit more maybe about a tenth and a half between them, but that would have been about a car's length with 7/100ths of a second between those two, so they would have been very, very close at that sector checkpoint. But right now, Quadeo holding Lightblade just about at bay. Up towards turn 9 they come. Lightblade's going to think of ascend it, but he's not quite in range to do so. Quadeo just keeping him very much underneath that rear hood. But we see there, we got Lightblade now tapping back of him a little bit. They were so close there as Lightblade was looking to try and sneak around the outside. Quadeo was saying no you're not, got his elbows out a little bit. Lightblade still unable to find a way through. These two now starting to boil over a little bit as the screen comes up, sorry about that, but coming through the final chicane now, once again through the final corner, and Lightblade is bumper to bumper with him, but the Ginetta's got nothing down this start finish straight, and you're going to watch and you're going to see and you're going to feel Lightblade's pain at this point, because he got such a good run coming out of that final corner, but it's just nothing he can do about it, because that BMW is so quick in a straight line compared to the Ginetta. I mean, the BMW isn't as quick as the Merc in a straight line, but it still trounces the Ginetta down the straights. The Ginetta's just got absolutely no straight line speed whatsoever. It's built for the corners, it's built for the speed through the high speed corners and the medium speed corners, and it's just got absolutely nothing through the down the straights. And right now Lightblade is feeling the immense pain of having a car in front of him that he knows that he's faster than, he knows he can overtake, but it's just too quick to pass down the straights, and Lightblade getting ever so wide there out of turn 4 into 5 they come. He still can't set himself up for an inside line, and Quadeo still holding on for P4. As we see Zaloba in the pits, the Lazy Camel also in the pits, Windsor coming in here on the second lap of the pit window, and Morphy in the pits as well. So they're following on from Freeman, Idris and Pete Bibb. Those 7 guys have all been in. That just leaves the other 8 out on track to come in. So Cheese Monkey, Codlungu, Marty, Blade, Snooky, John Jig and Nilsson all still need to come in and make their pit stops before the end of this pit window. That'll be in 6 minutes time, the end of the pit window. Any time before then these guys can pull the trigger and come in and get those done and out of the way. But right now it's looking like Lightblade will be wanting to do the opposite of Quadeo. I'm sure these two are going to be, it's going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse game for these next few laps. I bet one of them's going to come in at the end of this lap, but we'll have to see who. At this point, if I was Lightblade, I'd just be thinking do the opposite. Do the opposite of whatever Quadeo does at this point, because Quadeo is just going to hold him up no end at this point. But Codlungu coming in, also Marty, and Lightblade stays out as Quadeo pits. So those two now being separated, Lightblade's got to do either 1 or 2 absolutely stonking lap times if he wants to get round Quadeo and get himself up into a net 4th place here in this race. Codlungu, Marty, Snooky also in, as well as Quadeo. So those 4 coming in. John Jiggs following these guys in as well. Does Nilsson come into the pits at the end of this lap? We'll have to see as he's coming through the final chicane now. Is it going to be pit stop time for Nilsson, currently in P8 in this race, having started from the pit lane? Yes he is. He's coming into the pits now. So that just leaves Cheese Monkey and Lightblade still yet to pit in this race, as 6 drivers all coming in and making their mandatory pit stops at the end of lap 15. Cheese Monkey has a commanding lead out the front and looks to be in control of this one. Lightblade could be playing himself into contention for a decent result here if he really gets these laps down here during this pit window. But this race wide open right now as Codlungu's made his pit stop, as has Marty. Codlungu first out of the pits. Marty's just coming to the pit exit now. He's coming out about 4 or 5 seconds behind Cod there in 4th place. Snooky's going to be the next out, I think, or is it going to be, who's it going to be? I think it's going to be Snooky. No, it's not, it's Quadeo. Quadeo is the next man out, but he has lost well, he's about, it says 13 seconds behind Marty, so that makes sense, I suppose. Snooky coming out in 6th. John Jig coming up just behind Snooky. So it looks like the order's stayed pretty much the same there. No one's really had a horror show in the pits. It's kind of just stayed as you would have expected it to at this point. Those guys staying in order. Cheese Monkey, the race leader, is now in the pits, and is Lightblade going to follow him in? We're going to find out soon, as he's just got some traffic just in front of him in the shape of Windsor, and Windsor moves well out of the way there for Lightblade, who comes through. Is Lightblade going to come into the pits at the end of this lap? Is he? Yes, he is. Here he comes. So now everybody's been into the pits and made their stop. Cheese Monkey in the box right now, Lightblade on his way in. So Cheese Monkey will retain the lead of the race. We're expecting Lightblade to drop down to either 4th or 5th, I believe, unless... Hang on, I'm just trying to work this one out here. My goodness. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. He's either going to come out in 5th or 6th, I believe. But he should be coming out battling with Quadeo. Cheese Monkey will have a clear lead. We know that. That's 100%. He's on his way out of the pits now. Freeman's just coming through the final chicane. So Cheese Monkey's got more than enough of a gap over Freeman to see this race out. As you see there, Cheese Monkey is just coming into turn 1 now, and Freeman's just coming over the start finish line. So I think there's about a 12-15 second gap between the two. We'll see once they get to the first sector checkpoint, but I think there's a pretty significant gap between those two. Lightblade's got a bit of damage, we're hearing in the comments section. He's saying that oh no, sorry, no, I read that wrong. JR says that Lightblade's struggling a little bit with the setup because he can't see any damage, and it's a bit of a head scratcher really, because Lightblade was so strong in the quali session, but the race just hadn't seemed to be on the same level. I wonder what that is. But Lightblade and Quadeo, looks like they're coming down to the end of the start finish straight now, and I think Lightblade has managed to jump Quadeo here, so he is into 5th place. He's played an absolute blinder there over those couple of outlaps, and Lightblade now finds himself ahead of that BMW, which is what was absolutely haunting him earlier on. But I'll tell you what would really haunt him is if Quadeo were able to get around him coming up towards turn 4. But I think Lightblade's just about going to have the legs to hold on there, and he's going to need to absolutely smash this middle sector now to keep himself out of that BMW's overtaking range coming down the start finish straight on the next lap. Lightblade really needs to put his finger out here through these next few corners if he wants to hold on to this P5, but he's done the work. He's really put in that effort to jump Quadeo in those pit stops, and now has the ascendancy in his battle for 5th. But Quadeo gets a much better run coming out of turn 5 there, and it looks like we're going to go side by side into turn 6 and 7. Quadeo gets it up the inside, and Lightblade powerless to do anything about it, and Quadeo finds himself back into P5. Oh, Lightblade is going to be really annoyed with that one for sure. But Quadeo up into 5th, the GT3 champion, putting the move there on our reserve for tonight, and Lightblade now down to 6th place here in this race. In the meantime, Cheese Monkey leads this race by quite some way. As we've said throughout this race, he's been blitzing it out the front. Kodlungu is running 3 seconds off at the back of Freeman at the moment, so Kodlungu is going to try and bring the gap down to Freeman if he can. Freeman, though, obviously in the championship battle this season with Cheese Monkey, and we'll be hoping that he can, if he doesn't beat Cheese Monkey, then he can at least minimise the points lost and stay in 2nd place. And ultimately, if he manages to do that, then it will be as we were before last week, because obviously Freeman was 1st, Cheese Monkey 2nd last week. This week, Cheese Monkey 1st, Freeman 2nd. That'll mean they swap over. That'll mean that the points between them should be exactly the same as they were a couple of weeks ago, which kind of brings some relevance to the championship standings from a couple of weeks ago, which, if you didn't know, was a 24-point gap in favour of Cheese Monkey. So at this point, I believe Cheese Monkey should have that gap once again at the top of the standings. As JR says, looks like Light's struggling with the rears, or they're cold. Yeah, maybe. Or it could be, I said earlier on, it could be tyre pressures that could be causing him problems at this point. But yeah, whatever it is, Lightblade not having the confidence in the race that he had in the qualifying session, and it's really showing out on track at the moment. Freeman still running in P2 at this point, and he's got a reasonable enough buffer back to Cod. Cod shouldn't be fighting him too hard, I wouldn't imagine. We wanted to get the best out of his car for sure, but he won't be. I don't think he'll be pushing Freeman for 2nd, because he knows that Freeman's in a championship battle and he doesn't want to compromise him in that fight. as Lightblade's all over the place there, coming out of turn 8, gets very much into the cones there. He's really lost out a lot of time there. Cordeo now way ahead of him. I don't know what happened to Lightblade there, but he seemed to have a bit of a horror show coming through that corner. Snooky still running in 7th, and he's got Djphil now all over his rear, as Djphil's managed to make real good gains over the course of this race, having had an absolute nightmare of a first couple of laps to the race. Idris is still running all by himself in no man's land really. He's 8 seconds behind this battle between Snooky and Djphil. He's got a bit of a gap back to Zaloba, who's just been passed by the Lazy Camel. So the Lazy Camel has got himself into that final top 10 spot. Nicely done there from the Lazy Camel. He must have made that move on Zaloba somewhere in the first sector there. So Lazy Camel into the top 10. We got Nilsson there running in 12th, starting from the pit lane. He's now got 3 seconds back to Pete Bibb, who's a little way clear of Windsor there. Windsor seems to have had a bit of a horror show through the pit window, and he's now dropped way behind down in P14. Morphy must have stopped in the pits for a while, and he has not done the mandatory pit refuel, so he will obviously have to come, and now he's too late now. He's not going to be able to do that mandatory pit, so that ship has sailed for Morphy, unfortunately there. It's a bit of an initiation. It's becoming an initiation here at Motive. When you race in your first race, nobody knows about the mandatory refuel required when you come into the pits, so everybody kind of falls to that bait really, don't they? It's maybe we should put something up on the Discord about that to new drivers. Just say, look, by the way, when you come into your pits you must refuel. But yeah, everybody seems to miss that one. All new drivers seem to don't pick up on that particular point. But Djphil now still on the back of Snooky. These two separated by half a second right now as they're coming out of turn 7 here on lap 20 of the race. Freeman's managed to gap Codalunga a little bit now, 2.8 between those two, so that looks like it's pretty much going in favour of Freeman, which we would have expected earlier on anyway. Freeman obviously was on pole for this race, but had a horror show start. Found himself down in P4 very early on, and since then hasn't been able to find his rhythm. He's been closing on Cheese Monkey at points, but then Cheese Monkey's been more consistent over the course of this race and seems to have just had the answer to just about everything that any of the other guys have thrown at him. Djphil still can't get around Snooky at the moment. 3/10 between these two as they're coming in towards the final few corners of lap 20 of this race. Can Djphil try and get a better exit out of the chicane? If he can, he might be able to get a good run coming through the final corner, which will set him up into turn 1. It's AMG versus AMG power down the straight here at Barcelona, and I wonder if Djphil has got the legs here to get the move done on Snooky as they're coming now over the line now to complete their 20th laps of the race, and up towards turn 1 they come. Djphil's not quite got the legs, I don't think, to get ahead of Snooky up into turn 1, and Snooky's going to hold on to that P7 for the time being. Cordeo's gap to Lightblade now over a second, so Cordeo's managed to pull out that margin ever so slightly over Lightblade. Freeman continuing to pull away from Codalunga by a little bit each lap. Lazy Camel's now got over a second between himself and Zaloba, so he looks pretty good there for that P10 at this point. That was a hiccup. Lightblade looks like he's still pretty close on the back of Cordeo right now. 4/10 between these two coming down the start-finish straight, but I think at the moment Cordeo has got enough of a gap down that straight. The Ginetta just doesn't seem to have any answer to the BMW coming down the straight. Snooky's still keeping Djphil at bay. He's got just about enough of a gap at the moment. Nilsson now on the back of Zeynalov, half a second between these two. Is Nilsson going to go for that exit out of the last corner and try and get him down the start finish? Again, just like the battle with Snooki and Giovannini, it's Mercedes versus Mercedes power, but you sort of saw there Nilsson getting really wide out of the last corner, which would have just lost him a bit of time there on Zeynalov. So he's not going to be able to get it done this time around. Lightblade still on the back of Clegg, Giovannini still hassling the back of Snooki, and Nilsson still trying to get something done here with Zeynalov. Gap at the front between Cheese Monkey and Freeman, 16 seconds. Further 4 seconds back to Cod running in third. Marty doing a good job there in fourth place. Clegg still keeping Lightblade behind him, and Snooki still keeping Giovannini behind him. And Nilsson's close back up onto Zeynalov a little bit now. In fact, he's going to get this move done around the outside of turn 4. Oh, he gets into the grass a little bit. Zeynalov, a slightly aggressive defence, as he was in his rights to do, but he's holding on to the position there for the time being. Zeynalov still in 11th place. Nilsson not happy with that, flashing his lights saying, what's going on? But Zeynalov still maintains 11th place for the time being as they're coming into turn 6 and 7 here. But looked like he got forced onto the grass a little bit, and Nilsson's off. Oh no, Nilsson's pinned it onto the grass. Did he hit the wall? Hopefully he didn't. He's lost out there to Pete Bibb. Pete Bibb up into 12th place, and Nilsson losing positions here. He's losing lots and lots of time, and he's going to fall back out of the picture here is Nilsson. That is a real shame there for him, as he was hunting down a possible top 10 in this race, but it's all gone horribly wrong there. He's down to P13. He's got to regroup and go again here as Nilsson. That's really not gone to plan at all for our Swede there. But at the moment we've still got Lightblade on the back of Clegg at the moment, for half a second between these two. I want a lap 22 of the race. These two about 6 seconds clear of Giovannini, and he's capped Snooki a little bit now. Giovannini's managed to get out of range of Snooki ever so slightly. In fact, no, hold on. No, hold on. Yeah, I do apologise. It was actually Giovannini was actually behind Snooki and was trying to get the move done on him, and he's now ahead of him, so I just had a mare there. Sorry, I have to apologise, I wasn't paying attention. But Clegg still keeping Lightblade just behind him right now, 6 tenths between these two. I want coming through the middle sector here. Great battles throughout the field here tonight for round 5 of the GT4's Motive, and it looks like this one between Clegg and Lightblade is going to go down to the wire, but I just cannot see where Lightblade's going to get the move done, in all honesty. Maybe down here he's got the run, but Clegg defending to the inside, coming up towards turn 9. That's one part of the track where the Jetta has such a space advantage coming out of turn 8 that it does actually manage to carry the speed all the way down to 9, despite the fact that the Jetta's not too quick down the straights. But here we go, coming through turn 11 here, this side by side. Lightblade trying to get around the long way here. Can he do it as they're coming through towards the final few corners? Lightblade needs to get it done before we get to the last corner, otherwise he's not going to have any chance of getting it done. And Clegg just about holding on to this by the skin of his teeth. Can Lightblade try and get the exit out of the corner here and get him down the straight? He's not going to be able to, because the Jetta's got no legs whatsoever down this part of the track. They're going to be bumper to bumper, but watch this, the BMW is going to take off and the Jetta's going to have no answer down here whatsoever. And Clegg once again fends off the charge of Lightblade for the time being. We've got KD in the chat there saying, let's go power. I wish I was there, he says. KD, obviously an airline pilot, so he spends a lot of time away flying planes and doesn't get the opportunity to always race with us here at Motive. He does race when he can, and he's an incredibly quick guy. Good to see you out on the stream, mate, but unfortunately can't race with us as much as he'd like to. Always says that if there's another lockdown, then he'll be in for a season, but as it is, with the amount of time that he spends flying planes, it means that he doesn't really get the chance to race with us as much as he'd like to. But at the moment, Lightblade's still trying to put the pressure here on Clegg coming in towards turn 5, but Clegg is still fending Lightblade off and holding him at bay for the time being. This is a track that we know that KD's pretty handy around, though. We saw him take pole at this track in his very first race here at Motive back at the end of last season in the GT3s. He managed to put it on the top spot in the qualifying session in his first race. Did a really good job there, as He's just put a few alien emojis there. Absolutely, mate. You are an alien out on the track, I've got to say. You're freakishly quick around the GT3s and the GT4s and the Porsche Cuppers as well. I don't know how you do it, I really don't. But I suppose when you fly planes a lot, you probably get pretty good at coordination and that kind of thing. So I imagine that's probably where it all comes from. But right now, Lightblade's really close on the back of Clegg at the moment. These two coming through the final few corners of this lap here on lap 24 or lap 23 even for them. And is Lightblade going to get another opportunity here? I think we're going to still see the same old story cropping up again here as they're coming out onto the start-finish straight. I don't think that Lightblade's going to have any answer for Clegg coming down this part of the track. And yeah, once again the BMW pulling away from the Ginetta, despite the Ginetta being in its slipstream. It's still pulling away, as we have just lost a driver from the race. Zaloba's retired, so Zaloba's out of the race. A real shame there for him. Not sure why. Maybe he had damage on the car and wasn't willing to spend the time in the pits to wait for the damage to subside. So he's just taking the easy way out there, maybe. But yeah, that is Zaloba's race done and dusted. I'm just noticing my stream buffered a little bit there. Hopefully it's alright. It definitely did a little dance, but it appears to be alright now, so fingers crossed that stays all good. Yeah, it's just buffering again there, so just wait and see. Hopefully it should be alright. But yeah, here we are, lap 24 of this race. Lightblade still ducking and diving, trying to find a way around Clegg if he can, but Clegg still clinging onto the position by the skin of his teeth. Just over 10 minutes left to go here in this race for the 5th round of the GT4s here at Motive Racing. Guys, if you like what you see here on the Motive Racing channel, if you're watching on Facebook, be sure to go to YouTube and type in Motive Racing. If you look at the top corner of the stream, you'll be able to see it says watching 1080p on YouTube, Motive Racing, and you can click that link. You can check it out, check out the live stream on YouTube, subscribe to the channel so you can be notified whenever we're live, join the Discord server and become part of the action you see out on track in front of you. You can actually be one of these drivers cutting your teeth into some action on the Motive Racing channel, just like these two are doing, just like Clegg and Lightblade have done all race. And this battle for 5th, I think, is going to go all the way to the checkered flag here. Also, guys, for those of you watching, we've got a few of you still on the stream at the moment. If you guys enjoy the action that you see on the stream, then please drop a like on the video, as it really does help us out an enormous amount. We're currently on 7 likes on this video. If we can get this video to 10 likes before we get off air, and then get it to 15 once over the course of the next week, then that would be really appreciated. It would mean the world to us here at Motive. 10 likes before we get off air, 15 by the time we get to next week's race. That would be absolutely awesome, guys. Smash that like button. Let's get this to 10 likes before we finish for tonight. But right now, Lightblade looking to try and get this move done. He's all over Clegg coming through this part of the track. And is he now going to be able to try and go around the outside here? He's going to be able to use that Ginetta's cornering grip into turn 9. But the straight line speed really is shooting him in the foot time and time again. He's going to have a little peek down the inside coming in towards turn 9, but can't, turn 10 even, but still can't get around him at the moment. And Clegg just parking his car in all the right places. He knows the parts of the track where Lightblade is stronger, and he's able to be aware of that and just put his car in every single position where Lightblade just cannot do anything about it. And for the time being, Credeo driving a really well managed race, and this is the part of the lap where he will just completely leave him for dead and drive off into the distance. These two have now got Djphil closing in the background. I'm just noticing there in the background, Djphil only 3 seconds off at the back of these two coming down the start finish straight. So Djphil has really been reeling them in. Whilst they've been battling it out and slowing each other down a little bit, it has given him that opportunity to really reel them in. So really good driving from Djphil over these last few laps, and maybe, just maybe, Djphil, after the turbulent first couple of laps that he had, could be eyeing up a top 5 finish here in this one. It wouldn't be beyond reason to expect that such a scenario might come about. But Morphy's in the pits anyway from P14. He looks like he may be knocking it on the head here. As all Lightblade's looking to the inside here. That will be the outside for the next corner, as we saw Credeo getting a bit of a compromised run coming through turn 4. Lightblade goes late on the brakes and is going to try and hold it all the way around the outside here on Credeo. Credeo leaves him the space as Lightblade had a better run and did have some space on the outside. Up towards turn 6 and 7 they come. Credeo holds the inside line, and Lightblade's going to try and go for the cutback if he can, but Credeo once again putting his car in all the right places, and Lightblade still can't find a way around coming into towards turn 8. He's going to look to the outside. Lightblade always seems to get a much better run coming through this part of the track, but Credeo once again too aware of what Lightblade's strong points are around this track, and is putting his car everywhere that it needs to be. Lightblade looking to the outside in towards turn 9, trying to exploit the space there, can't do it, and Djphil gaining all the time whilst this battle goes on. Djphil there will be watching this and rubbing his hands together as Lightblade's now setting himself up for the inside line coming through turn 11. Can he get it done? No, once again Credeo slams that door on him, and there's just no way through for Lightblade. He's trying everything, he's trying every trick in the book to get himself up into 5th place, but Credeo is too alert and alive to everything that he's trying to do right now. As Credeo gets a big slide there going through the chicane, but holds on to it, and no matter how bad of a run you get in that BMW coming through the chicane, you're not going to get overtaken by a Ginetta down the start finish straight at Catalunya. It's just not going to happen, and Credeo once again survives that little scare. And look who's joining this party. Djphil is now on these two, as these three are now going to battle it out for 5th place here in this race. They're a little way behind Marty running in 4th. In fact, they're a long way behind Marty in 4th. Codlungu still kept Freeman honest over the last part of this race, only 3 seconds behind him. Freeman obviously running in 2nd place, having qualified on pole in the qualifying session. Hasn't really had the pace of Cheese Monkey consistently over the course of this race. He's had spells where he's been quicker, but Cheese Monkey on the whole has been the force to be reckoned with tonight. Credeo still keeping Lightblade at bay, 2 tenths between these two. Djphil all over the back of these guys as well now. Just a second separating these 3 drivers with 6 minutes left in this race. Lightblade throwing another look to the outside here on Djphil. Can he get it all the way around him? Sorry, not Djphil, Credeo even. Credeo holding that inside line, and Lightblade's going to have the outside. He got a really nice run though, did Lightblade this time around. That's probably the best opportunity he's had into the turn 6 all race, but once again Credeo holding that inside line, just going that little bit later on the brakes, and probably using all of his eggs into that first part of the corner and hoping that Lightblade doesn't try to switch back or doesn't manage to duck underneath him. Lightblade still trying to find a way around him. He's going to get to desperate points here for Lightblade pretty soon, I would imagine, but Djphil there throwing a little feint to the inside, trying to distract these guys if he can. Oh, and now Lightblade's got to run, as we see Credeo making a mistake coming out of turn 9. Lightblade I think he's got it done this time around. Yes, he has. Lightblade is up into 5th place there. Credeo with a little step coming through turn 9, and Lightblade did not need a second imitation. He needs to put out a bit of a gap coming through these next few corners though, because the Beamer is so quick down the straights. Lightblade needs to be out of range of Credeo before we get down towards the start finish straight. He gets beautiful traction out of that last corner, and I think he might just have enough to see off the challenge of Credeo. Lightblade has hunted Credeo, he's put him under pressure, he's forced him into a mistake, and now I think he's got that gap to see this one out. Great driving from Lightblade here in this one up into 5th place. Credeo's now got to watch out for Djphil queuing up behind him. As they're coming up towards turn 1, Djphil can't get it done on Credeo coming up towards the first corner. Lightblade's already got out of that range where he's at threat from the BMW. The Mercedes of Djphil now very hot on these guys at the moment in that 7th spot. That could become 6th pretty shortly if he keeps Credeo under pressure. Credeo's going to find that Djphil's a lot more capable of overtaking him than Lightblade was, seeing as Djphil is in that Mercedes, which is very handy and down the straights compared to the, well, it's about the same as the BMW, if not a bit quicker. So Djphil is going to find it much easier to overtake Quideo than Lightblade did, but Quideo's still got a pace, and I reckon he's probably more than a match for Djphil at this point, so we'll have to see how it pans out. But Lightblade will be absolutely relieved to have finally got that one done and out of the way and up into 5th place. Lazy Camel in 11th place. He's only 6/10 behind Pete Bibb. In fact, has he got ahead of him? I think he has. I think Lazy Camel's made that. No, he hasn't. He's still behind him. He is still behind him. I know Nilsson on the back of this trio here, running in 10th, 11th and 12th places. Nilsson wasn't too happy with SMT Zaloba earlier on with his defence. He's now pulled off onto the back of Pete Bibb and Lazy Camel, and could still be on for a top 10 spot, having started from the pit lane. Windsor in P13, not being the race at all for him. Quideo still on the back of Lightblade, but Lightblade's now starting to pull the gap a little bit to these two. Quideo is keeping Djphil at bay and has actually kept a bit of a cushion to him over the course of this lap, so he's got 8/10 back to him. That should be enough down the straight to keep onto the position for now. Cheese Monkey is on what I think is going to be the 3rd to last lap of the race. I think there are 2.5 laps to go here in this one, as Cheese Monkey has got 3 minutes 40 on the clock. He's just about halfway round the 29th lap of the race, so I think we're going to have 31 laps altogether, and we're just coming down towards the end of the 29th lap. So Cheese Monkey will be starting his penultimate lap pretty shortly. He's just coming in towards the final few corners now. He has got over a 20-second gap to Freeman, who in turn has got 4 seconds back to Kodalungu. He's got 8 seconds back to Marty, running in 4th place. Lightblade in 5th has got Quideo and Djphil stalking the back of him here. 1.5 seconds separating these three guys. Djphil's dropped off at the back of Lightblade a bit, but he's still keeping Quideo under pressure here in the closing laps of this race. Quideo has managed to gain a little bit on Lightblade, actually coming through that first sector there, so he's now very close as Djphil gets a big slide there. Look at that, he really had to overcorrect that coming through turn 4, keeps it on the track and keeps it reasonably out of harm's way there. Lightblade still holding on ahead of Quideo. This is going to go down to the wire between these drivers here. 4th, 5th place in this race. Pete Bibb's still got Lazy Camel just about a second behind him. Nilsson on the back of Lazy Camel here, looking very close here up towards turn 4. He's a little bit too far back to go for a move onto the brakes though this time around. Lightblade, Quideo and Djphil currently giving us a hell of a show here in the closing stages of this race. Cheese Monkey has got a lap and a half left to go. He's onto his penultimate lap of this race. Quideo still looking to try and come back at Lightblade if he can. If he can keep himself close coming out of that last corner, then he will pretty much have him done. Lightblade will be a sitting duck coming through that last part of the lap if Quideo can make the most of it and get that run coming out of the final corner. But here they come up towards the end of the lap now, and Quideo goes very deep into that chicane. That will have lost him a bit of time and maybe left Lightblade off the hook a little bit. I don't know what's happened to Djphil, but Djphil has lost out enormously. He's now down in 9th place. He's had an absolute nightmare there. Did he spin coming out of turn 9? I think he may have done. No, I think it was before that even, because at the checkpoint it's showing that he was already down in P8 even by the time the other two, Quideo and Lightblade, got to turn 9. But Djphil now down to P9. He was challenging Lightblade and Quideo for that 5th place spot. He's now dropped out of that one well and truly. Lightblade has got 1.4 back to Quideo and should be able to see this one out for 5th place here in this race, barring any major catastrophes in the final lap and a bit of this one. Cheese Monkey is about to start his final lap of the race. He's coming out of the final corner to start that last lap. He's got almost 25 seconds over Freeman at the front. Freeman's managed to pull 7 seconds to Kodalungu over this last lap or so and looks pretty much set in that 2nd spot. Quideo has got the gap down to just over a second to Lightblade. Has he got anything left to try and challenge Lightblade for that 5th spot here in this race? It's going to be tight. Well, that's all I can say in this one. Marty within 5 seconds of Kodalungu at this point, but I think he's left that charge a day late and $1 short here for this one. Cheese Monkey still out the front as that bloody menu keeps loading up for some reason. I don't know why, but Cheese Monkey is just coming towards the end of the first sector, so he'll be about a minute away from the checkered flag here. Freeman is just starting the last lap now. Kodalungu also doing the same. Windsor's in the pits, so I'm not sure what's going on there with Windsor. He's coming in on the final lap, so I don't know what's happening there. but Marty is just starting his final lap now, and Lightblade has got just over a second back to Cordeo, and looks like he's going to be able to see this one out for 5th spot. They got 6 seconds back to Snooky, a further 7 seconds back to Idris, running in 8th place. Jonjig, after that little mistake, dropped out of the battle for 5th place, and it's now down in 9th place. It's all gone a bit Pete Tong for Jonjig, just like it did at the start of the race with him. Really not gone to plan at all. Pete Bibb in the final top 10 spot. Nilsson in 11th is a little bit behind Pete Bibb, and the Lazy Camel is just being lapped there by the race leader Cheese Monkey. JR saying in the comments, hats off to Cheese. It really is hats off to him, mate. He has driven that superbly tonight. Didn't have the best of qualifying, gotta say. Cheese Monkey was down in 4th place in the qualifying session, and I was wondering whether or not the pressure from Team Run DJC was starting to get to him a little bit, but he's gone and absolutely risen to the occasion here in this race. Got a bit lucky with Freeman having that off, which promotes him to the lead. Freeman obviously went wide onto the gravel at turn 4, lap 1. He managed to get the move done on Lightblade though, which put him into position to take the lead when Freeman made that mistake, and Cheese Monkey has not looked back since. He's been the fastest man out on track, consistently the best driver here tonight here at Catalunya. He's going to take the win. It's a win for Cheese Monkey at Barcelona for round 5 of the GT4 season at Motive Racing on Assetto course, Competizione on the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 platforms. Cheese Monkey takes his 3rd win of the season. Really great drive, and his championship that he won last season is looking like he's going to be in absolute top form to defend that over the course of this season. Does a little burn out there to celebrate what has been an emphatic victory tonight, and a long way clear of this man Freeman, who comes over to take a 2nd place. So Cheese Monkey managing to take that lead back in the championship and extending his margin to Freeman. Kodalungu comes over to take that final podium spot. Marty Road Racing is coming up towards the line to take a 4th place here. A good result there. Team Run DJC finishing in 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th, as Lightblade is going to come around to take a P5 ahead of Cordeo, having made that move in the closing stages of the race. So Lightblade's going to come out on top in that battle there, coming through the final few corners. Big shout out to Lightblade jumping in as a reserve tonight for this GT4 championship here at Motive, and he's really delivered the goods. Always puts on a good show, does Lightblade, as he's coming out of the final corner now in the number 777 Janetta. He's slowing down a little bit here. I'm not sure why. Has he run out of fuel maybe? He has. Look at his fuel lights, they're flashing. Lightblade is out of fuel. Cordeo manages to get P5 there ahead of Lightblade. So it's a 2, 3, 4, 6 for Team Run DJC as Lightblade gets mugged at the end. He comes over to take P6 behind Cordeo, who finishes in 5th. Snooky 7th has just finished the race there. Idris comes over to take an 8th place. A good result there in his first race in the GT4s. Jonjig is going to come around the final corner, and it's going to be a 9th place finish for the man in the number 42 Mercedes AMG, having dropped like a stone through that last couple of laps there. He was on the back of Cordeo and Lightblade and looking like he was going to be on for a possible P5, but it all went horribly wrong for him. P9 for Jonjig here in this one. Pete Bibb comes over to take the final top 10 spot ahead of Nilsson in 11th, who started from the pit lane. Lazy Camel has finished the race in 12th, a lap down. Windsor is coming through the final part of the lap now, and he's going to finish this one in P13 is Windsor, but he'll still get some good points in that number 43 Mercedes AMG for sure. But I want to say another big congratulations to the race winner tonight. Cheese Monkey absolutely blew them away tonight. Nobody really had any answer to him over the course of tonight's race at Barcelona. The reigning champion once again showing why he is the man who won last season's GT4 championship. Freeman though keeping himself in the hunt in the point standings with a 2nd place. Kodalungu completing the podium for Team Run DJC. A good result all round if you're Team Run DJC and Cheese Monkey as well. Big thank you to everybody who joined us live on the YouTube stream tonight. If you enjoyed the action, then be sure to snap a like on our video. If we can get this video to 10 likes while we're still on air, that would mean the absolute world to us. 15 likes is our aim over the course of the next week, but if we get it to 10 likes before we get off air, guys, that would be brilliant. But yeah, drop a like, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to get involved, go to www.motiveracing.com as well. Join the Discord server and sign up to any one of the championships. Or if you just like watching the races, then as I say, subscribe, hit the bell, and you'll be notified when we're live. But with that being said, guys, another huge thank you to everybody who joined us. Big shout out to all the drivers as well, to all 15 who turned up. Even bigger shout to the 12 who finished, and we will see you 13 even, should I say. But we will see you in the next one, guys. If you want to join us on F1 in a few minutes time for XL F1 League, then you can. But if that's not your thing, then I'd say join us next time on ACC on Sunday night for the GT3s. That'll be be at 6 PM BST. That's UK time. We'll be shortly changing to GMT on the clocks, but that won't be for another 3 weeks or so. So for the time being, we're still on BST UK time for that one. But yeah, big thank you to everybody, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, and see ya.